Bathers, start your day the Baylor Babble way. I'm Shania here with my broadcast partner Jasper. Tia is here with your Baylor Sports Update, and Armani have your weather forecast. Today is Thursday, February 21st, and here's what's making news. Making news on this day in 1980, Dolly Parton brought the full range of her talents to bear on a project that cemented her crossover from country music to mainstream superstar. That project was the movie 9 to 5, for which Dolly wrote and performed the song that earned her both Oscars and Grammy nominations, as well as semi-official status as a pop icon. The biggest hit of Dolly Parton's career, the song 9 to 5, reached #1 on the pop charts on this day.
Making news around the world, British teen Shamima Begum will have her UK citizenship revoked after expressing wishes to return home from the Syrian refugee camp she's currently at. The 19-year-old left the UK in 2015 to become an ISIS bride, but says she deeply regrets the decision and wants to come home. Though she says she was just a housewife during her time in Syria, UK Home Secretary Sajid Javid says that he will not hesitate to prevent the return of anyone who has joined terrorist organizations such as ISIS. For more on the story, visit CNN.com. Making news around the country, for almost 20 years, Grand Canyon tourists may have been exposed to radiation beyond the federal limit, says the park safety manager. This exposure is reported to have come from the uranium ore stored in the Grand Canyon's National Park Museum. Uranium occurs naturally in the rocks of the Grand Canyon. This exposure doesn't necessarily mean that people who have gone there are somehow contaminated or will have health issues, states the park manager, just that they're legally supposed to tell you about the incident. For more on the story, visit CNN.com. Now, here's Tia with your Bather Sports Update.
I'm Tia here with your Bather Sports Update. The Detroit Pistons travel to Atlanta tomorrow night to take on the Hawks. Then they travel to South Beach to take on the Miami Heat the day after that. The Red Wings played the Chicago Blackhawks yesterday and lost in overtime 5-4. Their next game is tomorrow against the Minnesota Wild. Our Lady Bathers played Osborne yesterday, and let's just say it wasn't their best game. They will have another game on next Monday at 4 against Cody. Finally, our boys basketball team play their final home game of this season tonight against East English Village. JV tips off at 5:30, varsity at 7. Playoffs for both boys and girls teams start soon. That's all for your Bather Sports Update. Back to you, Shania.
Thanks, Tia. Making news around the state, the old yearbook photos captured the lighthearted moments from college worth embarrassing smiling faces, prep rallies, and cans of cheap beer. But tucked in among those same pages, pictures of students dressed in KKK robes and black-faced noses and mock-lynching display of racism, not hidden but memorialized as jokes to laugh about later. They found over 900 of these yearbooks far beyond Virginia. For more on this story, visit freepre.com. Now here's Armani with your Baylor Babble forecast.
I'm Armani with your Baylor Babble forecast. Across country, there will be a thunderstorm over here in the East Coast, and in the Midwest, there will be a light snow. And over here in the Rocky Mountains and the West Coast, there will be a mixture of rain and snow. For today's outlook, right now it's going to be 30 degrees and mostly cloudy. Around noon, it's going to be 35 degrees and partly cloudy. And at 4 p.m., it's going to be 35 degrees and partly cloudy. Around 8 p.m., it's going to be 36 degrees and a clear overview. For the 3-day forecast, on Friday it's going to be 40 degrees and a low of 23 degrees, and that's mostly cloudy. For Saturday it's going to be a high of 40 degrees and a low of 27 degrees. That's going to be partly cloudy. And for Sunday it's going to be a high of 47 degrees and a low of 39 degrees, and it's going to be showers. And for word, it's going to be clear skies when the sky has no clouds. That's all for your Baylor Babble forecast. Back to you, Jasper.
Thanks, Armani. Now it's time for the word of the day. Today's word is coherent, which means logical or consistent. The first of 2 student debates will be held tomorrow in the small auditorium. Journalist Jason Whitlock says that hip-hop culture is an utter failure. The me-first, rebellious, anti-intellect culture directly contradicts most of the values necessary to sustain a civilized culture. Is he right? The debate will be moderated by Bather Babble's own Don Williams.
Well, that's all we have for you today, bathers. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Bell City Beat. Subscribers get notifications when we go live each day. Leave us a comment, like and subscribe, or tell your friend or your teacher. Watch us too.